everyone. Ann Louise here, your hostess for the First Lady of Nutrition podcast, where we bring all of the latest, greatest, brightest stars in the nutritional world for health and healing. And today I have a very wonderful guest who is the owner, CEO, and founder of Pivotal Whole Health here in Coeur d'Alene, Idaho. Drew Johnson is a medical miracle. At 21 years of age, he was the youngest graduate in his physician assistant program, and he's participated in over 20,000 surgeries, 7,500 heart surgeries, 7,500 brain, spinal, and back surgeries. And he was part of the team that transplanted a mechanical heart and paved the way for human heart transplants. He's the guy I go to for my stem cells, and he is on the brink of a stem cell regeneration revolution. My new friend, Drew Johnson. So Drew Johnson, welcome to First Lady of Nutrition podcast.
Thank you, Ann Louise Gilliman.
Now, you had a promising career in surgical medicine. So how did you pivot from surgical medicine, conventional, traditional medicine into regenerative therapies?
Well, having been in the Western traditional medicine for over 35 into the 40-year time period from Chicago, Orlando, doing open heart spinal surgery, pediatric open heart surgery, you know, it was reactive medicine. Obviously, people very sick. We had open hearts. We had broken down knees and hips, and you know, just broken down bodies. And I was there to take care of the surgical end of it after years of abuse. And I felt that, you know, I was tired of seeing this happening, and I wanted to get ahead of the curve and pivot into the regenerative medicine side, the holistic side, to get people's bodies turned around on the front side to get them healthy.
So how long have you been in regenerative medicine?
This is going on my third year with another practice in Liberty Lake, and then over here in the Coeur d'Alene area.
Coeur d'Alene, Idaho, my friends that are listening from all over the world. We're talking to somebody from the inland Northwest. Now, I've been very impressed with Drew because he is my PA or my physician's assistant, but you're actually my doctor. I'd like to call you Dr. Drew.
Well, it's been a pleasure working with you so far, Ann Louise. Absolutely.
So you were repairing. Tell me what kind of joints you can repair. I'm so interested in the new science of stem cells. What do you offer that nobody else offers in the Northwest?
Well, I tell you, with my experience with joint replacement therapy that I've done, and now that I'm on the regenerative stem cell side of the industry, the major joints that I work with, and it's definitely the knees, the hips, the shoulders. I'll do some ankles, obviously, elbows once in a while, but low back, mid back, thoracic, and cervical areas.
What kind of stem cells do you use? I mean, there's all kinds of controversy now about stem cells. What do you use in your practice?
Yeah, we use a Wharton's jelly, which is really, really good for the joint repair. It is chock full of DNA-free, beautiful stem cells that regenerate tissue. There's hyaluronic acid in there, Ann Louise. It repairs the torn meniscus, the rotator cuff, the bad ankles. We do IV also therapy for autoimmune disorders to slow down the processes of neuropathies, Parkinson's. Michael J. Fox, of course, put this on the forefront of stem cell research and development back 18, 19 years ago. Also Alzheimer's. My mother passed away of Alzheimer's. Last thing I want to do as a healthy physician assistant doctor type guy is to have a great body, great young physical body, which I have, and then my mind going away. So I will be doing IV stem cells every 6 to 7 months to keep myself ahead of the most common disease in the world. We all know that's inflammation, setting up all these disorders.
So a lot of people have inflammation. I do a lot of testing, a lot of nutrient-based evidence testing of hidden infections, chronic inflammation. Right. Many people are carrying a toxic overload of virus. We see a lot of Epstein-Barr, for example. Right. Would your treatments be effective for somebody that has virus or any kind of bacteria, any kind of mycoplasma? How does that interrelate?
Well, as with stem cell therapy, we're always looking for the edge on treating, you know, bacterial viral infections. We're in the COVID period. Obviously, we have the influenza A, B, COPD. So I'm definitely feel that the core of regenerative medicine is stem cells that can get ahead of the curve on the infection, the bacterial infections especially. So that's
So it has a detoxifying effect. I wasn't aware of that. This is very insightful. It detoxifies and neutralizes the infections.
absolutely, absolutely. I've had a lady, a close friend of mine, that had active COVID positive, whether it was pneumonia combination influenzas, that in 48 hours she nebulized stem cells, Ann Louise, and was home all weekend on her back, went to practice on Tuesday.
And I know they're using a lot of nebulizers these days. People are nebulizing N-acetylcysteine, they're nebulizing colloidal silver. So what could they also nebulize? You say stem cells, the kind that you're giving with the Wharton's jelly, my friend?
Well, the Wharton's jelly is more for the joint application. We have another product that is more, the nanograms are smaller, so it's able to go through the pulmonary system much easier, more safer, if you will. It's not as thick. So that's the advantage of that. Matter of fact, I'm flying my brother in with end-stage COPD next weekend, who's going to nebulize, and so we're going to give him 2.5 cc's of these beautiful cells.
Tell everybody where you're located. As I mentioned, we're in Coeur d'Alene, Idaho, but you're in downtown Coeur d'Alene, Idaho, which, and the nearest airport. Let people know what they can expect if they come to see you in the clinic.
Oh, that's a great question. We offer fly-in packages to the Spokane International Airport. They're 35 minutes to my location here on 916 West Ironwood, which is right across the street from Kootenai Medical Center, which is the largest medical center in western part of the state. So we're proud to be here. It's a holistic, beautiful spa type environment.
And your website, and we'll repeat it again at the end of the podcast, but for now, what is the website?
Yeah, pivotalwholehealth.com.
Pivot, pivotal.
Yeah, like you pivot. Yeah, PIVOTAL.
Now, getting back to that pivot, because I love the name Pivotal Health. I think it's very creative. You've also pivoted into other kind of state-of-the-art therapies. So you offer quite a bit more than just stem cells. Tell us about some of the other things you offer.
That's a great question. And to preamble that, I spent almost a year, Ann Louise, looking what other practices were doing in the general medical environment. Whatever they are doing, I wanted to pivot away from that, because that's the same old day-to-day practice medicine that people are basically getting tired of. So to answer your question, beyond the core of my clinic, which is regenerative medicine, I have gone into two devices that are called the Emsella and the M-Scalp Deal, that are both devices that help pelvic floor issues with ladies that have incontinence. It's about 6 treatments you set on a device that causes almost 12,000 Kegels, and you sit on that device and it repairs the pelvic floor. So urinary incontinence is basically eradicated in 6 half-hour treatments.
Men and women, my friend, for both men and women.
Yes, exactly. The gentleman that has to get up in the middle of the night with prostate hypertrophy, this device actually reduces the size of the prostate so they can eliminate 9, 10 o'clock at night and have a good night's sleep, which then affects their cortisol levels. They have longer REM sleep. So it is a device that I think is going to be one of our busiest uses of my medical clinic. And an M-Scalp Neo.
I've done your M-Scalp Neo. I mean, I love that. And tell us why that's so important, especially for people that are in their 60s and 70s that just can't work out the way they used to. It's body reconditioning, isn't it?
Yeah, body reconditioning, body resculpting, and we call our 2 devices core to floor. So the core is the M-Scalp Neo. It also offers the ability to actually get rid of fat from a slow heat process, along with high FEM, which is high intensity focused magnetic energy, and it causes the muscles to contract. It's a comfortable process, and so they're getting their balance better. So people get in their 60s, 70s, and 80s when they have issues with balance. This will keep them from falling, avoiding the hip fractures, increasing their gluteal and their thigh muscles and their belly muscles to where they can, if they're starting to stumble, they catch themselves and they don't fall. And that is huge.
Very huge. Are you the only people in the area that carry the M-Scalp, by the way?
There are a couple other providers in the area, maybe in Sandpoint and in Spokane, I believe, but our practice is, we're almost getting so full, I've got almost maybe buy another device.
I I love that. I also see that you do something with particular sexual enhancement procedures.
Yes.
Could you explain that? I think my listeners will be very excited about this.
Well, this is an epidemic issue in the United States. I find people when they come in and tell me that, I'll get to the sexual question, that they're tired, their mojo or their sexual desires down, and they can't lose that weight, and so on and so forth. So I get a bank of labs. Basically, it's the Mayo Clinic of labs. It's $1,600 with the labs. I pay $100, and it's going to get their vitamin B12, their vitamin D, their testosterone, estradiol in the women, and I'm going to balance all that. So it's going to make their sleep better. They're going to get their weight off. They're going to get their sexual desire much better. And then we have a device that actually helps the area down there for the man and the woman, that is acoustic sound wave therapy. That's been around for a few years, and the initial device was called shockwave therapy. And I don't like that shockwave name, so we called it.
It was very shocking, by the way. I've undergone it.
Yeah, so it's acoustic sound wave therapy, which actually regenerates the small nerve endings and blood supplies to the areas of the female and male to actually wake it up like you're 20 years old.
And before we continue, I want to thank yet once again my wonderful sponsors, UniKeyHealth.com, the home of all my formulations, including Bowel Builder, Mag Key, and Super GI Cleanse, as well as CS-Health.com, the home of the only official activated sulforaphane products for internal and external body and beauty care. Thank you so much, my wonderful sponsors. So when you do the hormone testing and work with hormone management, are you finding people are very low in testosterone? What are you finding is the pattern of health?
Yeah, matter of fact, it's a great question. I had a 21-year-old, slightly overweight, 25 pounds overweight, tired. Ann Louise, his testosterone was the level of a 90. My own 26-year-old, I thought he was just maybe staying up too late at night, constantly complaining tired. It was down in the 300s. The testosterone is epidemically low with anybody coming to my clinic when they're tired.
Why? But why?
Because I believe, okay, the why is, I believe is stress. I believe our food, I believe the environment we are in the last 30 or 40 years is not where it used to be. The testosterone level in a 25-year-old back in the late 1800s was measured around 3,000. Now,
oh my God,
it's 10 times less than that. So my assumption is it's the stress, it's the food, it's the environment, it's what we drink and eat.
So I'm also wondering if in some way some of those xenoestrogens are imparting some sort of toxic byproduct with the testosterone. So they all connect. Do you measure cortisol levels with your hormone mapping?
Yeah, I can. That's an added value test. We can do that. Absolutely. We can do saliva, blood, you bet.
And then what do you do for it? So you get the results. We see all these values that are out of whack, as most people are. Then what do you do? What is the remedy?
Well, we have a product called Cortisol, Ann Louise, that what it really does is get your REM sleep longer. It decreases your stress.
Oh, I'm excited about this. What's it called?
Cortisol, CORTI, sleep.
Tell us what's in it.
It's almost proprietary to the company that, but it's not. There's no melatonin in it. It's a combination of nutraceuticals that actually shut your brain down longer at night.
Shut the brain down. That's what some of us need, including the First Lady of Nutrition right here. Yep. I just love that. And can we get this at your clinic?
Absolutely. Matter of fact, we're on back order from people wanting it. So we're getting an order a day of 12 boxes. We got sticky notes under my front counter. I want Cortisol. I want Cortisol. I want Cortisol.
So it really works.
Well, it's a vial of liquid that goes under your tongue for 90 seconds. You let it set there sublingually, and then you take it about a half an hour, 45 minutes before you go to sleep, and you get I would say it's going to add about an hour and a half to 2 hours to your sleep cycle.
I'll take it. As you get older, your cortisol levels ebb and flow, and you need more REM sleep. It's just the nature of the beast.
Yep.
Love it. Love it. Save one for me. Would you put a little sticky note on one, please?
There's already one waiting for you.
That's what you were doing. So what is in the future? So what do you see your clinic actually doing? Are you going to be expanding? Do you have new partners? What's going on with you?
Yeah, matter of fact, it's a great question. I have a gentleman here that is done a Zoom call with me a week and a half ago. He saw what he liked as far as my business model of medical treatment. He's big time into regenerative medicine. and he was going to come here for a day. Now he's been here for a week. He's going to stay here for another week. And we are in the process right now forming a alliance. And so we are
I'm sure it's because he was impressed with you because you're such a good clinician. That's why I was impressed with you. So full transparency, my friends, I've been shot by the great Drew Johnson, and you are really very expert. You did my TMJ, remember?
Yes, I did. And I know you're nervous, but I'm glad you're doing well.
I was very nervous, and now we have to do the neck. But
Yep.
my point being is I trust you implicitly because you have been involved with over 20,000 surgeries.
Yes, ma'am, I have. I've been very fortunate to be in multiple surgical environments from Chicago, Orlando, been on ABC 2020, just pioneering multiple open heart surgeries through minimally invasive technique, spine surgeries through minimally invasive technique. Now moving forward to regenerative medicine.
So why do you think you're head and shoulders above other clinics that offer regenerative medicine? What do you offer that they don't, other than your wonderful experience? Maybe that's all that people really need.
Well, it's an algorithm, and you're right. I think it's Reese's peanut butter cup chocolate, and peanut butter now has Reese's peanut butter cup at Pivotal Health. The combination of my 40 plus years experience seeing the body inside for over 40 years or 35 years, and now doing the injections externally, doing trigger points, stem cell injections, over thousands.
And by the way, I have to thank you very personally because the trigger point allowed me to sleep with my strained arm the other day.
Yeah, you were lit up. I'm so glad to hear that.
Yes, when one overdoes for like 50 years, sometimes the body gives way. So you are expert with that trigger point therapy. And what do you do with your trigger point? I think that's a wonderful pain reduction technique. Explain that to my listeners.
Yes, trigger point therapy, everyone, is basically when you have muscles or dystonia or tight muscles that are painful, like you turn your neck to the left, if you got to turn your shoulder left and look out the window. These actually with lidocaine injection, low dose, that actually the needle pierces the muscle, if you will, very, very minimal pain. And actually the lidocaine unlocks that muscle so you can move your neck, move your arm, move your shoulder, like in Ann Louise case, bend your back. And so this actually gets to the root of that muscle's issue to unwind the spasm.
So where do you hope to go from here? You're certainly at the vanguard of a new kind of uncharted territory, if you will. Where do you hope to expand to? What is your hope for the future? We had a 5-year plan, and I know some of you are sitting right next to you, but what is your 5-year plan?
Very good. Yeah, no, we're going to build this clinic up to be the #1 patient care, one-by-one satisfaction clinic to offer all the services I have mentioned on this podcast. We are looking to expand it to other locations in the United States. However, we are going to take it one patient at a time. And my goal is to be on the forefront of the Mayo Clinic of Regeneration in the United States. How's that?
That's a noble aspiration. You're well on your way. Tell me about the partners in your practice. Who else is specifically involved with certain services?
Yeah, well, I first joined it in the practice, back in the early part of this year. I had a gentleman named Ray Lebeck, who's I call my Swiss Army knife. This guy is very experienced in the medical environment, vice president of stem cell companies in the past, phenomenal with business development, as well as Samir here with me today. He's here as well, bringing the same type of tech expertise to my practice. I have estheticians here who have excellent patient care. That's the most important, patient care. They're #1. You got to make the patient feel trusted, that they trust you, that they like you. And then, it's like your experience here. That's what we have, those kind of practitioners.
How do people know about you, Dr. Drew?
Well, that's being local. I've had, exposure about 10 years throughout the area in different practices, and people have heard about me through Facebook, Instagram. Word of mouth is my #1 because of my patient satisfaction. I do know this, 90% of my patients that I have treated have been really, really happy with my patient care, my attitude, my services, my injections, and what I offer. And the testimonials and the med spa events that I've had at my house out in north of Coeur d'Alene, as you've seen my home.
As I've experienced.
Yeah. Pardon me?
As I've experienced.
Yes.
So the future holds for you to expand into almost like a franchise, would you say?
I wouldn't say a franchise, because I want control. I hate the word control, but I want to make sure my model doesn't get diluted. I want to make sure if we do open up other centers that they emulate and copy our model of patient care services. Number one, period. It's got to be patient outcomes, Ann Louise. I don't want to lose control of that. So it may be 5 centers in the next, maybe 10 centers in the next 5 years. It may be 4 years, it may be 20. But all I do know, I will make sure that my patients in each location are going to have the same model they have here at Coeur d'Alene, Idaho.
So in essence, Pivotal Whole Health, is it pivotalwholehealth.com?
Yes.
You offer regenerative biological medicine, M-skull body reconditioning, M-cell chair therapy, hormone management, primary care, Cleavon and precision male procedures, brain mapping, we didn't discuss, bone density analysis, and trigger point therapy. Did I miss something?
Nope, you were right on there. That is the services, that's my algorithm, patient care. Absolutely.
So if people want to contact you directly, do they go to the website pivotalwholehealth.com?
Currently, that is correct. We are going to launch a brand new, beautiful website within the next week or two, but currently that is a correct answer.
Parting words for my wonderful listeners who are very involved, by the way, with, I don't want to say anti-aging, I want to say regenerative medicine, fusion medicine. Yep. They're very excited about that because I wrote a book, as you know, called Radical Longevity. So what would be your parting words?
My parting words is I want everybody to get a chance to be better. I want people to say enough's enough with their current pain, to get ahead of them, to come to my clinic, sit down with me and find out how I can make their life better. So they don't have to accept second best in their healthcare, have their partners be happy, have their children be happy, that grandpa can bend over and go to the ball game, not be in a wheelchair.
Right, and make their golden years truly golden.
Absolutely.
From your lips to God's ears, as my grandmother would say. So thank you so much, Dr. Drew Johnson, who is my physician assistant here in Coeur d'Alene, Idaho, by the way. I just want to give him a personal recommendation because he's got a 5-star rating as far as I'm concerned. So I want to thank you once again for being my guest. Will you come back again?
Absolutely. Just let me know. I look forward to it, Ann Louise.
And I want to thank all my listeners for listening in yet once again to First Lady of Nutrition podcast. Keep those comments, calls, and letters and emails coming. Have a beautiful, healthy, happy, and safe week. Shalom, my friends. Shalom uvracha. Hi, everybody. I'm Ann Louise here with just one more thing. Thank you so much for being a fan of my work. And if you like this video, please check out all my other videos. Please subscribe to my channel and turn on notifications.